High Counselor Vexthran had studied human psychology for decades, analyzing their behavioral patterns with the cold precision of a scientist examining microbes. The species fascinated him. Their capacity for cooperation, their innovative problem-solving, their remarkable adaptability. But there was one aspect of human nature he dismissed as primitive evolutionary remnant: their capacity for rage. Anger is inefficient, he'd written in his acclaimed xenopsychology texts. Humans may experience emotional volatility, but their advanced civilization proves they've evolved beyond allowing such base impulses to drive significant action. The Syndicate had built their strategy around this assessment. Humans were reasonable creatures who could be negotiated with, manipulated through careful diplomatic pressure, and controlled through economic leverage. When they seized the agricultural world of New Eden and enslaved its 2 million human colonists, they expected protests, sanctions, perhaps even a limited military response. They never expected Captain Elena Rodriguez. Rodriguez had been visiting New Eden with her family when the Syndicate struck. She'd watched from a hidden shelter as alien soldiers executed her husband for resisting relocation. She'd seen her 8-year-old daughter dragged away with other children to work in the processing plants. She'd witnessed the systematic destruction of everything her people had built over 3 generations. When the rescue ships finally arrived, they found Rodriguez alone among the ruins, her clothes torn and bloody, her eyes holding something the Syndicate xenopsychologists couldn't classify. "Captain Rodriguez." Admiral Chen's voice was gentle over the communication link. "We're here to extract survivors. Please report to the landing zone." "There are no survivors," Rodriguez replied, her voice unnaturally calm. "They killed them all. Every single one. Elena, we need you to." "They killed my daughter, Admiral." The words carried a weight that made hardened Marines step back from their communication stations. "They killed my daughter, and they're going to pay for it." What followed redefined galactic understanding of human nature. Rodriguez didn't request reinforcements or file formal complaints with the Galactic Council. She didn't seek justice through diplomatic channels or demand war crimes tribunals. Instead, she did something that no other species in the galaxy had ever conceived of. She made it personal. Using her authorization codes and a salvage communications array, Rodriguez broadcast a message across every human military frequency in known space. "My name is Elena Rodriguez. The Syndicate murdered my family. I'm going to kill them all. Anyone who wants to help is welcome to join me." The response was immediate and terrifying. Human ships began arriving not in organized fleets, but in angry swarms. Private vessels retrofitted with military hardware. Corporate security forces abandoning their posts. Retired veterans emerging from decades of peaceful life with weapons they'd sworn never to use again. They came for Rodriguez. They came for her daughter. They came because something fundamental in human nature had been awakened. High Counselor Vexthran watched the feeds from the Syndicate homeworld with growing horror. The humans weren't following any recognizable military doctrine. They weren't trying to capture territory or achieve strategic objectives. They were simply destroying everything that belonged to the species that had hurt one of their own. "This is impossible," he whispered as human ships systematically dismantled orbital stations, burned agricultural centers, and hunted fleeing Syndicate vessels with relentless efficiency. "Humans don't behave this way. They're civilized. They follow rules of engagement." His aide's voice shook as he delivered the latest intelligence reports. "Sir, they're not stopping. Every Syndicate outpost, every trade station, every colonial settlement. The humans are erasing them all. And they're not taking prisoners." Captain Rodriguez stood on the bridge of her commandeered dreadnought, watching as the last Syndicate city burned below. Around her, a fleet of 10,000 human vessels waited for orders from a woman who'd become something between a general and an avenging angel. "Captain," her communications officer reported, "we're receiving surrender offers from 17 different Syndicate factions. They're begging for terms." Rodriguez studied the burning planet through the viewport, remembering her daughter's laugh, her husband's smile, the life the Syndicate had stolen. No terms, she said quietly. No negotiations. No survivors. High Counselor Vex Thran's final research paper, transmitted moments before the human fleet reached his world, contained a single, revised conclusion. Previous assessment was catastrophically incorrect. Human rage is not a primitive remnant. It is the foundation upon which their entire civilization rests. When aroused, it does not seek efficiency or logic. It seeks completion. Total, absolute, inevitable completion. The transmission ended as the first human missiles found their target. In the aftermath, when galactic historians tried to understand what had happened to the Syndicate, they found only empty systems and a simple message broadcast on every frequency. They touched our children. This is what happens when you touch our children.